The man we're talking about today was literally left for dead just a few weeks back, but he has proven recently you just can't keep a good man down, especially one that has been a world champion on multiple continents.
Wow.
He's been performing at a high level for nearly 20 years, but still had to prove himself over again to the bosses at WWE when he showed up in the company just 4 years ago. I'm Rick Ucchino, and Alan Jones is under the spotlight today. You may know him better as the phenomenal AJ Styles. Styles began his wrestling career in 1998 when he began working for Georgia-based National Championship Wrestling, the Gainesville native, first appearing as the masked wrestler known as Mr. Olympia. From 1999 to 2001, he competed for a number of lesser-known promotions and even had a cup of coffee with WCW, but was not offered a contract when the company was bought out by Vince McMahon. The Phenomenal One would continue to wrestle on the indie scene and eventually, in 2002, was offered a developmental deal by WWE. It would have required Styles to move to Cincinnati, Ohio to train at the Heartland Wrestling Association, but the timing just didn't work out. A relocation would have interfered with his wife's college plans, so Styles turned the offer down. Instead, he made his way to Ring of Honor and began to mix it up with fellow future WWE main eventer CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, but he would follow a much different path back to WWE. While Punk and Bryan ended up making the jump in the mid to late 2000s, Styles would build up his reputation in total nonstop action wrestling. He spent over a decade in TNA, winning multiple World and X Division championships. In fact, he was the company's first Triple Crown and Grand Slam champion. Thanks to partnerships with TNA, Styles was able to work for a number of Japanese and Mexican promotions from 2006 to 2013 and received worldwide acclaim for his skills in the ring. It wasn't long before he was dubbed one of the best wrestlers on the planet, and in 2010, he became the first TNA wrestler to be ranked number 1 on the annual Pro Wrestling Illustrated Top 500 list. Whether it be his friend or foe, Styles got the chance to work with some true legends in TNA: Kurt Angle, Sting, Ric Flair, Kevin Nash, Booker T, and Christian, just to name a few. Sting even anointed Styles as the man he intended to pass the torch to, even though they both kind of ended up leaving the company about the same time. Sting, of course, finally headed to WWE so he could be fed to Triple H, and Styles, well, he signed with New Japan Pro Wrestling in 2014 and won the IWGP Heavyweight Championship in his first match. He would also later go on to become the leader of the Bullet Club, replacing Carl Anderson, who was the de facto leader after Finn Balor left New Japan to join NXT, although Styles was already the leader of the Ring of Honor version of the group, which existed at the same time.
Everybody got that?
For those of you who don't, just know that Styles was in the Bullet Club with Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. That will come up again later. Styles would go on to hold the IWGP World title twice in his 2-year run with the company before he left in January of 2016. It was at that time WWE was on a big kick of signing away the top stars in New Japan and apparently made Styles the Vito Corleone offer. And finally, for the first time since making a couple of appearances in 2002, the Phenomenal One would wrestle in a WWE ring. However, despite his reputation as one of the best wrestlers on the planet and the obscene amount of money the company reportedly paid to get him, Styles wasn't coming to the WWE to be a top guy, as made evident by his debut in the 2016 Royal Rumble, when the camera guys paid more attention to Roman Reigns' confused facial expressions than Styles' actual entrance into the match. But his popularity both among the fans and backstage helped convince the boss he could be so much more. One of Styles' biggest backers was Chris Jericho. The former world champ did everything he could, short of calling Vince a stupid idiot, to get Styles over. His initial program with Jericho and then his following feud with Roman Reigns sealed the deal for Vince, and he was convinced Styles was a star. By the summer of 2016, the Phenomenal One was winning matches over John Cena and then captured his first WWE Championship when he punched Dean Ambrose in the at Backlash, hit the Styles Clash, and got the 1-2-3, solidifying him as the face that runs the place, now known as SmackDown Live. Styles would spend that following summer feuding with Kevin Owens over the United States Championship before once again ascending to the top of the WWE mountain. Mercifully, he ended the championship reign of Jinder Mahal before he could be slaughtered by Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. Instead, Styles ate that bullet. A bit of a rocky start to one of the greatest title runs in company history. Styles defeated the likes of John Cena, Kevin Owens, and Daniel Bryan, and for the better part of the summer of 2018, fellow New Japan alum Shinsuke Nakamura, who despite multiple opportunities and several shots, could not get the belt off Styles. On November 7th, AJ Styles became the 8th man ever to hold the WWE Championship for over a year. About a week after that, Styles finally lost that title thanks to a from Daniel Bryan. I'm noticing a theme here. Seriously, why does seemingly every time Styles has the belt, there's an onslaught of punches?
All the humanity!
Anywho, back on course here. After spending all of his WWE career repping the blue brand, Styles was drafted over to Raw in early 2019, where he reunited with Gallows and Anderson and formed the Club, and apparently the only one that mattered. His OC brothers would help Styles recapture the United States Championship, and after reuniting with AJ, Gallows and Anderson won a really big trophy in Saudi Arabia that totally meant something. The OC would spend the better part of 2019 and the early part of 2020 terrorizing the locker room, before everything literally went to hell. The Club ended up picking a fight with the wrong guy, and AJ was literally buried at WrestleMania 36 by The Undertaker. That would end up being the Club's last stand. The Boneyard match in the main event of Night 1 of WrestleMania was the last involvement with WWE for Gallows and Anderson. Now Styles is back standing on his own, and he's back on the blue brand, with plenty left in the tank to add to his already Hall of Fame resume. And an Intercontinental Championship victory could very well be in his future.